Welcome to the party, guys. We're doing it again. Same Forge channel, same Forge time. As always, got some beautiful weather today. And we're rapidly losing that sun. So we're going to try and get through this project today. Last week, if you tuned in, I attempted to make my very first trail cross. And it was abysmal, which would be a nice way of putting it. And while I was doing it wrong last week, I thought to myself, you know, if I did it this way, it might look a little better. But we were out of sunlight, so I punted. So we'll try it again this week. Why not? We'll see how it goes. This time I'm just using some round bar. I'm not going to worry about putting in the twist. I just want to get the shape right. And then, you know, maybe the next one, we'll put in a little twist there. Give it the old Mick twist. Looks like we're good on Twitch. How are we doing on YouTube? Chidrins. Levi got his brow furrowed like he's doing calculus or something.
And Twitch is still giving us that offline message.
You know what? Next week, we're dropping Twitch. To heck with them. How's YouTube looking?
It's looking pretty good.
Awesome. Switching camera, doobie doop. Again, we're doing the Mark Twain. I don't know what particular version of the Mark Twain this is. But it's the El Presidente length. Bada bing. So yeah, we're just waiting for metal to heat up. I meant to text Levi earlier to help him better prepare for today's stream, and I completely forgot about it until just this minute. But Brittany and I were at my favorite cigar lounge a few nights ago, Nikki Blaine's, downtown Indianapolis. Tell him Jesse sent you if you go there. You'll be treated real well. And then I read some spoilers today in regards to the subject that me and Brittany were talking about, so that might come up, so spoiler alerts. But here's the question, Levi. Direct question for you and you alone. We often give you the business about not engaging in the culture because you refuse to watch American TV and movies. But give us your, shall we say, education on Tim Burton's Batman. What was that other? Chris Nolan's Batman. No, is it Chris Nolan? Yeah, Chris Nolan's Batman and Jared Leto's portrayal of the Joker, and then Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the Joker. A little editorialization there. What's your education level on that? And like hat trick, Mark Hamill's Joker. What's your education there?
Invisible.
What have you seen? Let's go down the list. Have you seen Tim Burton's Batman from '89?
Yes, but probably the last time I watched that, I was 7 or 8 years old.
Good enough. All right. What about Heath Ledger's Joker?
Heath Ledger's Joker, that one I know.
Cool. Jared Leto's Jared Leto Joker.
That was the one that came off more like the Riddler than the Joker, right?
No, that was the one where he was supposed to be like a gold tooth gangster type in the Suicide Squad movie that had Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. You didn't care for Jared Leto? Cool. Okay, now tell me about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Have you seen that?
Don't think so.
Fair enough. Might be a short conversation then. All right, so making this troll cross, we got to make things square, then pointy, then round again. So not gonna lie, my brain went chain link there for a second, and I got off the beaten path just a little bit. We'll get that hot and try again. But yeah, I started knocking in that taper, and it's like, hey, you're not making chain. You have to make that taper in 4 directions. So, Brittany and I were discussing the various Jokers over the years and who the best were. To me, it would be Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill, Jack Nicholson.
Makes sense.
I'd even go so far to say that Joaquin Phoenix is not actually the Joker. It's just some BS story that they decided to chew in on the whole Batman thing. All right, so we're square and pointy. Ba-da-da-da. So next we go back to making it round. And I learned of some spoilers about the new Joker movie beyond the fact that it's absolute garbage and everyone seems to be hating it. The movie's still in theater. I should probably not lean too hard into the spoilers. But you know, the 3 people that watch this video, they may or may not care. So Levi, generally speaking, what are your thoughts on the various Jokers we've had over the years?
My favorite is probably Heath Ledger. I think that's mostly nostalgia factor because it was, you know, what that would be middle of high school era and the high school era.
What year did you graduate high school?
08?
Yeah, that would have been like your senior year.
Yeah, so I think it's more wrapped up in all of that. He did a phenomenal job, and regardless of my nostalgia feelings.
Did you just say irregardless?
I did. Regardless of my nostalgia feelings, he's definitely one of the tops. From the older series, I go probably my second, just because I know that was. It may not have been acted as well as Heath Ledger, but it has almost cult profile to it now.
Which one is that?
I don't remember the one from '89.
Jack Nicholson's Joker?
Yeah.
Batman 89, I believe, is how they refer to that one.
Yeah. I feel like Heath Ledger did a better Joker, but there's so much that Jack Nicholson built, essentially. So he's got to be top 3, probably number 2. The Joker from Suicide Squad just made me angry. It did not feel very Jokery.
You know, but apparently the rumor was that they cut so much of Jared Leto out of that movie, they could have made an entire movie just out of the stuff they cut out for him. And I'm glad that they cut him out because I feel like he was second to worst Joker ever, and he's only second to worst because he didn't get enough screen time to really ruin the character.
That's fair. Like, it could have gone either way. Like, maybe my abhorrence to him is just because of what they left in. Maybe they could have built his character and he could have came into it and a bunch of the stuff that was cut. Who knows? But as it stands, I don't like it.
Same. His performance was garbage. But Joaquin Phoenix, I feel like those movies should be scrubbed from memory and we should all just move on with our lives like they didn't happen.
I don't think I've seen any of them, so to me they haven't happened.
I envy you for that. What was it? It was Futurama, where they cast all the Star Trek nerds into a volcano and then threw all the Star Trek tapes and movies and tapes and DVDs into said volcano, and then they all just Star Trek never happened and they moved on with their lives. We should do that with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. It's like, all right, guys, that was just a weird fever dream. It didn't actually happen.
Yeah. What do they call it? Something effect.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. I wanted to say Mandalorian. I'm like, that's not right. What am I looking for?
Almost.
Phoenix is just Mandela effect. It doesn't exist.
I'm okay with that. Let's do just one more heat to get that a little bit more around than it is. You know, to the Mandela effect, one last thing about the Joker is I hated that first movie so much. Hated it, hated it, hated it. And then when they're like, they're doing a second one, and it's gonna kind of sort of be a musical with Lady Gaga. Like, oh my god, that's gonna be terrible, but I kind of want to see that. Like, I want to see that, like volunteering to go see a train wreck. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go into it knowing that I'm gonna be very angry. And now that the internet is so pissed about it and they hate it so much and it's so terrible. And the ending I had to read 3 or 4 times today. The ending is so incredibly just objectively terrible. It's like, oh my god, I so badly want to go see that. Like, oh my god, it's gonna be so bad. But to the Mandela effect, the whole Fruit of the Loom never had a cornucopia in their logo. And Fruit of the Loom even posted on Twitter. It's like, we went through the archives, we've never had a cornucopia in our logo. Well, there is some woman that decided that that can't be right because she vividly remembers that. So she went through all her friends' closets, through her own closets, just looking for Fruit of the Loom stuff, and she found a T-shirt that plain as day has the cornucopia in the logo. Like, there's something hinky going on here.
Yeah, and there's a couple of people finding old Fruit of the Loom shirts in like Goodwill and whatnot, having the cornucopia on there too. Or the one for Monopoly. There was something to do with them.
Him having a monocle or not. I think on one of the dollar bills on Monopoly Junior, he does have a monocle, but in all the proper Monopolies, he does not. That's pretty round. I'm pretty happy with it. So we're gonna swip it around to the other side and get the other side all pointy and round. It's a pretty neat earth round. So yeah, there's the conspiracy theories that pop up around the Mandela effect because you know it's the internet, so everything. It's almost like Rule 34. If there's something of it, there's a conspiracy of it. If you actually know what Rule 34 is, I'm not going to explain it. Don't look it up. It has nothing to do with me. So there are some who say that a lot of these Mandela effect things are real as we remember them, but the fact that they're trying to, I hate to use the term gaslight because it's so used incorrectly, but it's as if they're trying to gaslight us to see how far they can get us to remember alternate pasts so they can continue to alter what we believe, therefore control us. Like, that's some wild conspiracy theory stuff, but you know, it's fun to read about when you spend all day in front of the internet.
I'm going to grab a drink from inside if you don't mind.
Please do.
You need anything? You need anything?
I am set, sir. Thank you. You seem suspiciously quiet today, Miss Brittany. Can't even say no, he'd shake your head. Microphone can't hear your head rattle, sweetie.
Yeah.
There you go. Got some participation. Oh, you know what we gotta do when Levi gets back? We got a nice full crowd back there behind the cameras.
It's voting time. Wait, let me go get Cammy, and she can have 5 votes.
5 votes for that little dog.
Head in each of her paws.
No, I don't know if Levi's gonna go for that.
She vote for me.
All right, it's that time of the show. Everyone has had their seats. We got a full studio crowd today. So we got to put up the vote. Who are we going to blame everything on? So here, we're going to do it this way. To the crowd, raise your hand if you think Brittany should be blamed for everything. 2. Is that guy eating pork chops? Well, he voted for you with like barbecue fingers. All right. So if you want to blame Levi, there it is. The woman in red with the mousy dress. Mousy dress. Woman in the red dress with the mousy boyfriend. The guy with the weird hat that hated on me the last time we did it. It's like overwhelming. We're blaming Levi. And that's even without the 5 votes from Cammy.
6, 7.
Overwhelming. We're blaming Levi today. All right, let's make things square and pointy. So we go from round to square. Then we start doing pointy. You got a little bit out of whack there, but we can fix that. Cool. So we got a start of a taper here. I'm not overly happy with it, so we're going to do one more heat on just the taper, and then probably start going into the round if I have enough heat for it. Any comments in the chat?
No.
Hell, any viewers in the chat?
Yeah, we're the only ones here right now.
Right on. Well, then I'm going to take a second to refill my drink.
Something that doesn't taste good, apparently.
What do you got there, Miss Brittany?
It's not that it doesn't taste, so it is water, lemon, and charcoal.
Ew. You lost me at lemon.
Yeah, no, and it's very heavy lemon. You would not do it. This would be something where, like, if you lost a bet, you'd have to do like a shot. It is just straight lemon juice.
It's just straight lemon juice?
I mean, no, it's water and charcoal as well, but like it tastes like lemon juice.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And I like lemon juice. I love lemon waters and the sorts of things, but it's just
Too overpowering.
So for the record, I hate lemon if it's not lemonade. But you have such a scathing review of that drink, I kind of want to take a hit off that and really hate it.
You have to do it on camera.
Oh yeah, that's going to be part of the entertainment factor here. So it's called The Cleanser, Water, Lemon, and Charcoal, Pure Nutrition, The Heart of Health.
Not as much of a reaction as I thought we were going to get.
I'm a little surprised by that too.
That's kind of lame.
That's terrible, but that's not as bad as I was expecting that to be.
He takes another sip. Yeah, Zach gave that to me before I left.
Does he not like you?
He like downed one in front of me.
Pretty gross. I think the charcoal saves it, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. I think the charcoal makes it better. Oh, that's a flavor that sticks with you, too. All right, what are we doing? Working that taper down a little bit more. We're going to start putting some round in here because got some heat in which to do it. All right. We're gonna do one more heat on that rounding to make that cleaner.
All right, crowd, taking bets. How many times is Jesse gonna say we're gonna do one more heat on that?
You do as many heats as you want. Nothing wrong with taking an extra heat.
One more time.
We're gonna celebrate. Yeah, that lemon stuff wasn't very good. I think the charcoal saves it. I think that cuts on the afterbite a little bit.
He sounds like a firework. Locked with a red battery board.
She really does. Just leave him chop. You can see him.
Pop, pop, pop. Alrighty then. Think it's time to curl those over. We'll see how this goes. This could go well, or it could not. We'll just have to see. Heck, we're only like 20 minutes in. I might try with that square too. Why not? Brittany's got the gimbal out, so I'm trying to annoy her. It's not even pointed at me anymore. Sorry, I keep looking at my phone. A buddy is texting me. We're talking about doing a hunting trip. About doing another hog trip, potentially.
That makes me hungry.
Got her.
You didn't.
Oh, is that you? You just trying to make me feel better about myself?
No. I'm just hitting buttons.
What are we doing? We just curling that over? Let's just go ahead and curl that on over.
Since we've changed the audio setup, your phone doesn't mess up the screen as much anymore.
Really?
You know,
Well, that worked out nicely. And I was using the wrong camera, no less. But you guys all missed it, but I got that to curl over just like I was hoping it would. Get that point back to the main point.
so do you have to taper it to curl it? Or could you bring the fat end back around and meet it up flush?
Probably. I don't see why not. Do I have a piece of round here not doing anything? Find out just for you, Levi. Question was, do you have to taper it to curl it, or could you just bend it back around so it's flush with the stock material? Probably. Let's find out. That's still not hot. So yeah, a few years ago, we did a hog hunting trip down in Texas. Had a great time. Yeah, I got the right camera.
Now change. For a while we were just sitting there.
So yeah, so we took some wild pigs while we were in Texas. And then on the drive back, we were loading up the trucks just as that huge blizzard was rolling into our area. And we spent the entire drive home. Well, we stopped somewhere. I don't remember where we stopped. Missouri or Tennessee or Oklahoma? I don't remember, but we had an Airbnb. So the entire way to the Airbnb in whatever state that was in, we drove on the front of that blizzard. And then when we woke up the next morning and finished our trek, we were in the heart of that blizzard. And one truck was black, one truck was white. No, red and black were the trucks. But by the time we got to Indiana, you literally could not tell what color the trucks were originally because they were completely impacted with ice and snow. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but we'll see what happens. All right, so Levi said, can we curl it without tapering it? Let's curl it without tapering it. Answer is yes.
Looking good, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Ty. You're a good man. Let's see if we can't get that tighter. So yeah, we're talking about doing another one of those trips. Should be fun. All right, so we're going to try and curl this over the ring in a different kind of fashion than we did last time. So what I'm doing is gently feeding it in front, feeding it over the anvil, while just giving it a few taps with the old hammer and getting it to curve around. But I've since ran out of heat, so we're going to get it out again. See if we can't bring that back around. Ooh. There you go, Levi. Not tapered, not particularly round, but
Doable, but
yeah, if you cared to put the extra work into it to make it look pretty, then yeah, you can totally do that.
Ty also agrees that it was a crazy storm on the way back.
Yeah, it was intense. Like, there was I don't remember what highway we were on. We weren't in Indiana yet, but weren't far from Indiana. And in the lane southbound, just everybody was stopped. It looked like a mall parking lot on the highway, and there's a few fender benders mixed up in there. And just as it was getting out of sight, there was a semi that was clearly driving too fast for the conditions, and he just went plowing through, and we went right over the hill right before the semi got to it, so we didn't get to see the carnage. But a reasonable person would suspect that that semi plowed through a couple of different cars on his way in. It was a wild trip back, but it helped keep the pig nice and cold. The coolers had more ice on the outside than they did the inside.
That's one way to preserve your game.
Last time I used a semi-automatic rifle. I think for this coming trip, I will use a lever action rifle.
Now that you have a super nice, awesome lever action.
That's partially the reason. The other partial part of that reasoning is it was too dang easy with the semi-auto. It was like point and click. You know what I mean?
I'd like to try and do that with my bow.
So it's more. I'm gonna try with the lever action because, you know, with a semi-auto, if you miss your first shot, just squeeze the trigger again. No effort whatsoever. I would like to mention though that the pig I did shoot, I fired 1 round and dropped 1 pig. I didn't miss a shot until the next time I went out hunting after a specific boar, and I missed him because I didn't lead him enough. He was running pretty good, and I got the elevation right, but I didn't lead him enough, and I hit the ground like right behind him as he scooted by. So that was the only shot I missed. But with a lever action, you miss, you gotta rack that lever and reacquire your target. Semi-auto, it doesn't kick much at all. Just squeeze the trigger again. So yeah, want the added challenge. Let's get those centers warm. Let's see if we can't reshape that into a better shape. That already looks better than the one last week. So yeah, that's coming out nicely. That's a nice surprise. Ty, if you're still there, how's the lighting and overall video quality look like on your phone screen or on your computer monitor at home? Like out of 10, what would you say it looks like? But to your point, Levi, doing a hog hunt with a bow would pose that same similar challenge. You miss, now you've got a problem, you know. The problem though, aside from now you have to pull another arrow out of your quiver, you have to do all the work and all that. Aside from all that, feral pigs are mean
Yeah.
and they will attack you.
Yeah. I
Well-
don't think I'd be on the ground. I think I'd have to tree stand that.
Yeah, with a sidearm, so you can get to the stand and back. We were in a hunting stand during one of our hunts, and one of the guides was down on the ground walking, and I had him kind of in my corner of my eye, and I was watching, you know, everything else going on, and I kind of had him on tabs, and then he started running, and I looked, and he's in a full-on sprint for our tree stand, and there's a pig chasing him with like the open for business sign around his neck. And I raised my rifle and I got in on him and I pulled the trigger and nothing happened. Safety. So it's like, dang, hit the safety, come back up on the target, and the pig's walking away and the guy's like hanging on the ladder for the tree stand. I was like, sorry dude, my safety was on. He's like, no, it's good, it was on, but thank you. Like, I felt so bad. If that guy would have got mauled, it would have been my fault. Oh, drop forge. Burning leaves. All right, we're gonna get that whole ring. Goop. See, we're doing better. We're gonna get that whole ring hot, and we're gonna make it a little bit more ringy. I think we're gonna bend out those loops a little bit. So what do you say we make that more roundy, and then we'll worry about the last part.
Yeah, that looks worlds better than the one last week.
Yeah, incredibly different. And it's annoying that while I was doing it wrong, I was thinking, you know, the better way to do this would be this way, but we were running out of sunlight. It's like, I'm not going to redo this again. Yeah. But yeah, like a bow would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think a lever action would be a lot of fun.
too.
I gotta get a scope for it and scope rings for it. I was just gonna have a gunsmith do it because it seemed like a lot of work and I didn't want to screw it up on that rifle. But I looked at the rifle and it's already got drilled and tapped holes on the top of the receiver. And the manufacturer of this particular rifle sells scope rings that fit the footprint, if you will, of the top of the receiver. So it's really like pull screws out, put scope rings in, drop screws, done. My only trepidation is the fact that it's like these rings are X big with Y height and whatever, right? And it's like, oh, I found the scope I like, and I don't know how to marry up those numbers to see if it's going to fit or not.
Well, email the manufacturer, tell them, hey, I want to mount this scope to this gun. What rings do I need?
That's probably smart. Figured I would just go to a gun shop that actually has reputable people and be like, look, here's my situation. What's your suggestion here?
Yeah, asking the manufacturer you can do from your home, though.
But then I don't get to go to a gun store.
Like, you have never needed an excuse to go to a gun store. It just gets you the response more quickly.
This is not wrong. Let's see, are we hot? We're hot enough. We might be able to do something with this. Doop.
Last words.
Not exactly round, but we can fix that. Kinda. All right, we're gonna get those leads hot and bend them down. See how that turns out. There we go. Da-da-da-da. Did Ty ever respond, or did he drop out before my question hit?
It says that he's still watching, but he has not responded yet.
Cool. Probably got up and went to go make himself like a spicy apple juice or something.
Does seem like something he would do.
I didn't know he liked apple juice.
He enjoys a little bit of apple juice from time to time.
She's looking at Levi.
She is like staring a hole through you. Did you wave to her?
Yeah.
That dog. I wonder if it would be better or worse if we put something in front of the window and closed the blinds so she couldn't see out.
Whatever you put in front of the window, she's gonna.
I learned that when I tried to block her from the kitchen the other day. She broke down my wall multiple times. She was like, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
She is small, but she's mighty.
But y'all are too young for that reference. Bunch of kids.
You're mad, old man.
Does that make you a cougar then?
A cougar? I don't think boys can be cougars.
What is the male equivalent of a cougar then?
Makes him a gray rubber.
I think that makes him a pervert or a creep. Because men are not afforded the same grace as women are.
Depends on their pocketbook.
Yeah, I think if you're a good looking older guy, I think you get to be a silver fox. I think that's what you get to be. But yes, it's also how big your wallet is. Which I guess makes me a 10 fox.
The Tin Man. Now.
I'm proud of that. That's funny. That's good. Print it. Is this ever going to get hot, you think? Hey, we're getting there. I would like my other pair of tongs, too. Let's see if we can't do some stuff here. I'm going to leave it on the main camera. I think that'll be more entertaining. We're going to grab him just the end. Hear all my knuckles cracking when I did that? That was exactly what that was. All right, I'm going to get that much hotter.
Don't you have scrolling tongs somewhere?
No, I do not.
I feel like that's what you really need for that.
A pair of scrolling tongs would be very handy. Do you know where one gets scrolling tongs?
Paul.
No, they make them themselves. You know what I don't like doing?
Make tongs.
Making tongs.
Yeah, that's why I said Paul.
If I asked Paul to make me a pair of tongs, he would start off with F you, Jesse. Make them yourself.
Need to get him over here to do a lesson on how to make tongs, and then just use the scrolling tongs that he makes you in that lesson.
That is actually already been discussed. If doing an episode, I have a pair of tong blanks in there that, quite frankly, will never become tongs. But I hit up Paul and said, "Hey, will you come join me on the stream, and we'll do it follow the leader style. You'll work on one half of the tongs, I'll work on the other half. Then at the end, bada bing, tongs." And he agreed to do that. So, but if we do that, I'm going to replace these guys and do another pair of V-bit tongs. Those are my favorite tongs. They're rough.
Well, just have to do it a couple times. Next follow the leader, he teaches me how to make tongs, and we do another set of
Potentially.
whatever tongs you need.
I've made so many tongs. I've made all of my tongs. So I've probably made about 8 pairs of tongs, and I'm just terrible at it. All right, let's do some twisty twist here. Well, that's not twisting where I want it to. All right, we can work with that. Y'all didn't see that, but when I threw those tongs, they slid into that bucket like perfect. Like I felt like Fonzie just then. I just want to throw that out there for the whole world to know. So that's not bad. Ba-da-da-da. Not bad. But I think I want to drop that crown just a little bit. I feel like it's a little bit too oblong. So we're going to get that part hot and see if we can't squish that down just a skosh. And we're going to throw it down again. Burn some more leaves. It is fall time. It's time for the aroma of burning leaves to fill our neighborhoods. Unless you're Ian. Yeah, one of the people in the neighborhood threatened my neighbor for having, seriously, a fire is about as big as the inside of my forge. Threatened him for having a small fire where he was burning twigs that he had collected in his yard.
Well, it was right after all those storms too.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's like, heck, I make more smoke when I start up my coal forge. Not a lot of smoke right now, but when I start it up, it gets pretty smoky. That is a barky dog.
Okay, I think she thinks that you're the weakest link. That's why she's barking at you. Like,
I
this
was-
guy isn't gonna let me suffer out in here.
I was
I was tempted to ask you if I could bring her out here and just have her down in front of me.
We totally can.
I was puppy sitting one time, and she was dead to the world, asleep, sprawled out on the floor. And in one motion, she woke up, stood up, and went bark, 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 all the way across the living room floor. Turned around, looked at me, bark, and then laid back down and was asleep within like 10 seconds. What was that? Rosha lifted her head up off the couch and watched it. And when she laid down, Rosha looked at me. I was like, oh no.
She was the problem child this morning. She was a lot. It's like, it's cooling down, so all the windows in the house are open. It felt amazing. But when the windows are open, I like the blinds to be open a little bit too. And she was just on a friggin' roll with the barking this morning.
Well, there we go. We're going to call that a troll cross, kids. Little long in the legs, but I think that represents a troll cross. If you can see that. I don't know.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you can kind of see it better there. That is one troll cross. Put it on the face of the anvil. That's not going to stay there. That's not going to stay there either. That might stay there. Let's try that. So, troll cross. If y'all can kind of see that. I don't know where the accent comes from. But troll cross. In comparison, and this is just for you, Levi, because you were upset that I didn't do it last week. But here's the one I worked on last week. That turned to poop. Let me see if I can get these both to stand up. So there, you can kind of see a slight difference there. Last week, when I knew I was going about it the wrong way, but nobody cares about that one. Another Fonzie move there. So there's the new one. Looks much nicer. So, how about
You're really
that?
good at throwing things unintentionally into the quenching bucket.
Right. Brittany's requesting that I hold this one up again. Let's hold it right side up. There you go. Bada bang. All right. You know what we're going to do? Because we got a little bit of time. That's a little short. Let's cut this in half real quick, and we will do a quick chain link because I'm way behind on chain links. So let's get that good and hot, and we'll knock out a chain link real quick because we got time, I think. Or something quick. Think we got enough sunlight to knock out a chain link real quick, guys?
Yeah.
She got all those big fancy lights now.
We got enough lights around. It shouldn't matter where the sun's at.
You're not wrong.
Trying to practice some more fancy hammer tricks.
Or slow-mos where you don't see it, but I definitely run away.
I've had, believe it or not, because of my hammer twirl video, I've had a few guys say, "Hey, Jesse, when are you going to teach me how to spin my hammer too?" I even showed one guy how to do it, and he just giggled and laughed through the whole lesson because it was so ridiculous of a conversation. Certainly do feel like the fawns. I chucked my tongs, and they went right where I wanted them to. Then I chucked that over my shoulder to heck with this piece, and it landed not in the yard.
Right where you picked it up.
Yeah, like all right then. Hey.
Somebody needs to pick up a lottery ticket now.
super long story. Gonna try and keep it as short as possible. Me and a friend went to the VP one time and got some drinks, and then just as a lark, he bought a couple of lottery tickets. We went out and sat in the vehicle and scratched them off and won some money. So he went inside, bought more lottery tickets, came out, we scratched those off, won some more money. So he went in, bought more lottery tickets, came back out, we scratched those off, won more money. So he went in and bought that many lottery tickets. We did that like 6 times before we finally burned all our money that we had won, on lottery tickets. And we're like, well, guess our luck ran out. And so we left and we went to dinner with my family. Then his mom was like, hey, come see me. So we jumped on his motorcycle and we never made it there because we had a motorcycle accident. So we really did run out our luck that day.
Also, in case you were wondering, 267.
Yeah, we're going to have to do like an open forge day where I just stand around making chain all day. What was that?
You're getting awfully flippy with those tongs. Just like fly behind it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to stretch out that spring. I think I did the math the other day. And I think to get us caught up, I need about 100 feet of steel. So I'll stretch out that spring and see how many feet that gives us.
Oh, speaking of springs, did they give you the spring from your old garage door?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And I have a box of replacement springs that I bought for that garage door before I decided that I wasn't going to replace those springs myself. So maybe we'll stretch those out too. And then for whatever doesn't, whatever the remainder is to get to 100 feet, I'll just go buy some steel real quick. And then just spend the day making chain links. See if I can do this 1 heat per step. So yeah, probably do an open forge day here coming soon. Maybe this weekend. You won't be around this weekend, will you?
Maybe. I'll be coming back on Saturday.
Okay. Maybe open forge on Sunday then? Thought about on the next open forge day going over and knocking on Ian's door. Be like, firing up the forge. Come join us.
Might as well. He'd probably appreciate the invitation.
Heck, maybe invite him onto a stream one night. Let him guest teach. Look a little bit washed out on the light, don't I? A little bit.
Yeah.
That
As
sun
everything else
dropped out.
gets darker, we need to probably give it a little bit more yellow tinge,
Where'd that
especially on your
remote
right
get down?
side.
Hit the C+ button. Receiver must be in the front. Oh, that's a little better. It's a little bit more yellow, but at least I'm not so washed out.
Do you want to just gonna leave it there so you can
Yeah,
adjust
that's
it if
fine.
you need to.
Oh, I'm getting too hot over there. Yep. Look at that. That's almost perfectly even on the first shot around it. Look at that. It's almost as if I've done this once or twice. But yeah, the spring from my old garage door is still attached to the long pole. And so that probably implies, or one could infer, that those springs are still under tension. So when we loosen up those bolts, there may be a little bit of action. Not like when you remove that thingy from like the front springs of a car where it'll like launch things across the world. But it might be a little exciting. It's not even hot. What? What?
Okay.
Yeah. Doobie doo boop. So yeah, next week I'm gonna disable Twitch. So to that point though, I did a little bit of the Googling, and it said that if you're seeing black where the screen should be, it could have something to do with caching in your browser.
Yeah, in the upper right hand corner, it has a black screen, and the upper right hand corner of the black screen it says offline.
Interesting, because Twitch keeps telling me I'm online. Would you do me a favor, just out of curiosity? Open an incognito browser and go to my Twitch stream to see what that looks like. If it's black in the incognito.
I mean, I've got it pulled up here. It's black.
Incognito?
Not incognito, but
Let's try incognito.
it's
If it's black in incognito, I'm just going to disable Twitch.
Yeah, it's still black. Like I said, you could take a couple of seconds to come over here and look at it. In the top right hand corner of the black screen, it just says offline. But it does say that it says that you're live. It says that you're live, but it says that.
So yeah, probably just disable it and go live straight to YouTube. Unless on that Restream software that I'm using, if I can hook up Facebook to that, then I'll take out Twitch and add Facebook. There we go. One chain link. Doop. Go to the other camera. One chain link. Just kind of close that deficit because you guys are awesome. And I have close to like 300 followers now, if all told. So I had a lot of chain link to make. Very excited to do it. It's just haven't been able to get them all done. So we're going to do some quick plugs real quick. So right down the list, DB_Forge on Instagram does incredible, amazing, beautiful work. Go check out that fire poker he just made. Holy crap. Leave a comment on the picture telling him how awesome it was and that I sent you. Daniel's Real Estate. Talk to them if you're wanting to buy or sell real estate in Indiana. He's amazing. From the Mold on Instagram. Sharp Bend Forge on YouTube. Levi's not promoting anything yet. Brittany's not promoting anything that's not mine yet. I think that's everybody. Did I skip somebody?
You already shot out Nikki's earlier, so.
Naturally, Nikki's. And of course, brimstoneforge.us will take you to my link tree, I think they call it, kids these days. It's got all the things, the store, the Insta, the TikTok, the YouTubes, maybe the Facebook. So yeah, check it out. Drop me a line, hit my DMs. If you're like, hey Jesse, I really want to make a da-da-da, but I don't know how to go about doing it, shoot me a DM on one of those various things. I'll figure it out and maybe I'll do a stream on it. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to end it tonight. We're losing the sun about an hour in. So anything else from the ones behind the camera? Any last minute comments, questions, concerns? Cool. All right, kids, we're going to kill it. We're going to do the same Forge channel, same Forge time next week. We will see you then. Y'all have